In this lecture, we're going to validate the password fields. We have two of them in our form. The second field is to verify the password. We want to check that the user is sure about their password. vValidate has a rule for checking if two fields match. We'll learn about what that rule is in a moment. First, we'll focus on preparing the fields. Under the age field, you'll find the password field. We'll change the input field to the field component. We'll set the name attribute to password. Next, we'll begin adding the rules. In the schema object, we'll use the following rules for the password field: required, minimum, maximum. Throughout this section, you'll notice I've been setting a minimum and maximum cap for each input. This rule set isn't required, but recommended. Most databases will usually come with a limit on how much data can be inserted into it. While it's not your responsibility to manage the database, it's always good to ask or check what the limits are. This will allow you to import those limits in your forms. The limits I'm using are ones I use in real applications. Feel free to follow along. Sometimes you may need to use different limits. Increase or decrease the limits as you see fit. The next step is to work on outputting the error. We'll use the same markup for the other input fields. Scroll back to the password field. Copy and paste the markup for the error message from any other inputs we've already validated. Paste it below the password field. The name property will need to be updated to password. We can work on the next input. Same process as before. The confirm password field can be found directly below the password field. We'll do the same thing we did to the other components. Change the input element to the field component. We'll set the name attribute to confirm password. Up next, we need to add the rules. We're not going to use the same rules we used for the password field. It's not necessary to apply the same rules. The purpose of the confirmation password field is to double check that the user correctly inputted their password. The rule we'll want to use should check if the input matches the input in the password field. This can seem a little tricky, but luckily vValidate comes with an easy-to-use solution. First, we'll need to import and register the rule. Open the validation file. Import a rule called confirmed. In the install method for the plugin, we'll add the confirmed rule with the define rule function. The confirmed rule will check if the value inside the current input matches a value in another input. Let's learn how to use it. Switch back to the authentication component file. Let's go to the schema object in our data function. We'll add the confirmed rule to the confirm password field. The confirmed rule requires we pass in the name of the field the current input should match against. We'll set this rule to @password. The value must correspond to the name we assigned to the field component with the value we're checking against. The @ symbol is required. It'll tell vValidate to search for a field with this name. This rule will tell vValidate to search for a field component with the name password. The last thing we'll need to do is add the error. Let's scroll back up to the template. We'll copy the error message component from one of the previous fields. Then, we'll paste it below the confirm password field. We'll change the expression to password confirm. We're finished. Let's open the form in the browser. We'll input some values for both fields. If both passwords don't match, we should see an error telling us that they don't match. We'll receive an error from vValidate. If we were to make the passwords match, then the error will go away. Great! We're finished with the name, email, age, and password fields. We were able to cover some additional rules. A lot of the rules we covered can be reviewed by visiting the documentation. We've still got a few more fields to validate. Let's finish this up in the next couple of lectures.